Hey everybody, this is Grace. I am on my way to physical therapy. I actually left early today to go to physical therapy because here in north central Texas, north of Dallas, we're under a wind advisory, and also I don't know if they still have the red flag advisory up yet or not, for the fire in this area. But the wind advisory said gust up to like 40 or so, 45 maybe even. But it said it was going to start in like 30 minutes. I said, I'm going to go ahead and go early. And yeah, I'm still going to have to travel it back, but not the same route. And this route, if I came back on this route, there's like a big drop off. Talking like if the wind hit at the wrong moment, just drop off the road, and yeah, it's kind of deep. But anyway, I just want to get there safe today. Usually, until today, I cannot believe it, but usually I would not go because I've been in an SUV when the wind, I turned a corner and the wind just kind of lifted it and scooted it. It was a Pathfinder, Nissan Pathfinder, one of the big ones, and just lifted it and scooted it. Yeah. So I have no intention of having that experience again. But I don't know if you can hear the wind right now. Okay, so anyway, I did ask my cardiologist, like the discharge papers from the ER said to do, about if I can go back to work, and they said yes. He said yes, the cardiologist. And if I could continue with my physical therapy. And he said yes. He basically said yes, if you're up to that, I am all behind you on it. On both of them. And he's, basically, to combine it all together, he said to watch out for the same symptoms I had before. And then some of this stuff that's going on with it, when I read it and everything, it seems a little confusing. I don't think they know for certain things, because I have, let's see, 2 more labs to go, and then there's some other tests they're going to give me. And then I have to go follow up on it. And then I got to start taking a new medication. And once they do the follow up, he would send me a message. I am not used to this portal stuff where they send messages and you can write text. You can text back. All that. Okay. Plus, it seems like sometimes they don't work. It doesn't work right. Well, when does an app ever work right? Yeah. So, speaking of, going back to work, I have I've been listening to different people. I've been watching these people who do gig workers, the ones who do food delivery and such. I've been watching them for years now, and and as I've said numerous times, back in 2023, I decided to get health insurance, and I was basically told here in Texas that I had to work. I'm not going to go into detail because, that I couldn't just pay for it outright. I had to work. And with edema, there was only one thing I could think of to do. And since I had been watching these people, they go to work and they go home whenever they need to, and that's what I would need to do whenever my legs would start getting too swollen, my legs, feet, ankles. And what job was going to let me do that? I couldn't work from home because I couldn't sit up long enough, to really get much accomplished. As far, I wouldn't know that, but at the same time, yeah, I would. Like, you have to be there at a certain time to take this phone call or that phone call or whatever. It just probably wouldn't happen. So I said, why not Plus, I'm the type that likes to be outdoors. I like to be doing stuff. You know, doing stuff out of the house. And so kind of, and then I did it and I liked it. Plus, you know, my master's degree is in sociology, so it's kind of like a field trip to me. You know, a field trip. How funny. But yeah, field research. You know, going into all these different houses and everything. And seeing how, you know, just from the front yard and all that, front door. But still, some of them, you know, just seeing how they live, and it's kind of like a good thing for me. Different ways the houses are and all, yeah. And I have legitimate reasons to be doing it. I'm kind of joking there. Okay. Now, that kind of segues into this. This is a segue into it. This about, you know, I've noticed a lot of, like I said, I've been watching them for years. You know, and I started doing my own delivery in 2023. So I've done plenty, but then I had all these health problems and all that. And I just now got cleared to go back to work. Okay, I don't want that bag underneath my car. I still have that picture of one of them underneath my, wrapped around my, whatever that thing is, muffler. How often do I use the word muffler? Hardly ever. But anyway, ooh, it's windy. I probably should slow down a little bit. But some of the things I've been watching, especially even lately, is it's like lather, rinse, repeat. Does anybody ever change this dialogue? You know, the whole thing of blame the customer. You know, yarn helping out. And then you say, why are so many little people, so few people, so few orders? Well, could it be because you're constantly blaming the customer, and some people watch these things? They spread the news. You know, constantly blaming the customer. Customer isn't tipping enough. Customer doesn't owe you a tip. Period. They do not. They pay enough in fees, markups, you know, for products, and the fees and this and that. And by the time, you know, sometimes you can order just one meal and you pay double for it with all the fees. So they don't really owe you that tip. And you think they know that you're living off that tip? Why are you living off a tip? You know the score, so stop blaming the customers. You keep blaming them, you have less customers. I've been saying that for years now, and it seems to be true. Less and less customers, but of course there's other reasons, like the inflation as it is. Okay, and some of the things, how they blame the customer is just funny to me, because such things like the customers who live in apartments, or ordering things like 2 or 3 big things of water bottles, like 40 water bottles in a pack and stuff like that, and they order big 12 packs or 24 packs of sodas, cans, and other heavy stuff. Well, duh. Okay, you got it. Then they say this stuff about these are premium services. Well, act like it is. Don't go blaming the customer for ordering. They live in an apartment 3 stories up. Maybe that person can't carry all those, and they think that, well, these are going to be people who they're trained to do this. These are the drivers, the delivery people. This is their job. They don't have a problem with it. Why would they assume you have a problem delivering soda if you took the order? How do they know how it works? They don't. Okay, anyway, I'm here at this place, and I parked next to somebody. I don't know what this is. I've never seen it, but it's a big SUV. It looks like they probably go, they use it to go camping maybe or something, but there's this big on one side, maybe it's a police car. undercover police or something. But they're two, like, I'm thinking one of them is a light or something. But it's like a big tube. Kind of like on the back of your, washer dryer. Which one would it be? Dryer, sorry. But instead it's just solid. And then there's a little light underneath it. I guess that other one is a big light too. I don't know. It looks weird. It's coming out of the hood on the side. Doesn't have it on the other side. But they have all kinds of stuff in there besides mounts. Okay, anyway. So where was I? The people who are complaining about what the customers order. Oh, think about it, seriously. I mean, really, I can't get beyond that. Somebody's ordering water bottles. Oh my, shame on them. I mean, I can understand, because with my health, there's no way. When I first started back in 2023, I did call one of them that I don't use. I found it is awful. But, and I tried to find out what about people who are disabled. And I could not get anybody to tell me anything. I'm serious. They put me through, like, one time it was 45 minutes of just, let me transfer you. Nobody would answer anything. And I finally reached a woman here in the United States, and she gave me an email address, which I decided never to use. And I used that app, and not very much, and I said never again. It was just trash. The way they handled the situation was trashy. So that one, and then one actually when I started delivering, it was all trash. So, and there's another one mixed in there. If you find something that's all trash, why are you still using it? I know. If you mention the name of it, you get more views on YouTube. Make more money, right? There's always a complaint about it. I have not seen one that they used the name of it in the title and they weren't complaining. Or saying, look what they got in trouble. For what they're doing. Something is going to be about complaints. Most of the videos seem to be about complaints. So that have to do with these delivery services. Okay, at least that's what I see. I mean, it may be some rabbit hole or something, but no, it's always complaints. So back to the customers are complaints. Customers are wrong for living in a place where the driver would have to walk up 2 flights of stairs, to the 3rd floor. It's only 2 flights of stairs. Now, I can't do that because of my health. And so what do you do? So you don't get apartments. What do you do? They complain, oh, I don't want to do apartments because of the customers always ordering stuff like that. Well, yes, they're going to get used to it. Put on your big girl or big boy panties and get used to it. Here it is. That's what they're going to do. You know that. So why don't you know? Why don't you? Here's the fault in you. Why don't you know how to determine before you accept the offer? Before you accept the offer. Okay, before. Why don't you know how to determine if it's an apartment or a house? I do. And I haven't been able to work all that much because of my health. So, but some of these people, they have been doing it. They do it as full time. Why don't you know? Have you considered asking? Have you considered trying something? Trying to figure, I didn't ask anybody, I just figured it out. Plain and simple. Yep, just zoom in and zoom out. Zoom in, zoom out. Determine what does it look like, or the street numbers. Is it like a big place and it has one street number? Then what would that be? See, what? And do you know the area? So if it's in the area where it's all businesses, you know, what if it's just, this one is 102, this one, or 1022, that one is 1024, that one is, come on, people, this is your job, but you're going to blame the customer somehow, you know, because I don't want to do apartments because customers are always ordering a whole bunch of water bottles and a whole bunch of canned soda. Yeah. Again, big girl panties, big boy panties. Big boys wear panties. Anyway, you get it. Come on. But they're going to blame the customer. It's the customer's fault. So the customer should not order groceries to be delivered because they might need water and soda. They want that, so they should go to the store and get it, buy those themselves. Is that what it is? So you don't have to do that. But yet, when they get those groceries, they better give you a good tip. And this is a premium service. And they talk so much about, well, if you can't afford a tip, then you shouldn't be on this premium service. Maybe you need to act like you're the delivery person for a premium service, and you be a premium delivery person. Seriously. Okay, and another thing, you know, when I first started watching people doing these deliveries, you know, I'm not against it, obviously. I'm not. And I'm only talking about the ones who are really, really just so rude and so snarky, snarly. You know, and of course that draws in some people who like people who are snarky and snarly. Or but some people, a lot of them are people who deliver and they're just frustrated with some of the things. And there are some bad customers. Like I said, I've delivered to, this will be the third year. Well, I don't consider it third year. It'd be really more of the second year. Until it's not. But I understand there's some really bad people out there. You know, I think in a way I'm kind of, I don't get as much of the rudeness because I kind of look like everybody's grandma. One of those everybody's grandma types, you know. And no, this is Texas. Nobody messes with anybody's grandma. I kind of make myself laugh about that, but it's in a way it's true. You know, the whole looking glass self thing working there, and yeah, I can see that people see me as the grandma type, and I'm serious. In Texas and in other places, you don't mess with somebody's grandma. You know, you don't mess with grandmas. Leave them alone. They might, yeah. But you know, there's that. Plus, I'm a tall woman. I call myself a gentle giant, but I think overall it's the grandma thing. And so I don't get a lot of smart aleck people, and I don't get, but I also don't get a lot of meet at door types. I don't know why that would be here in Texas, but not a whole lot. And I've seen, you know, I've watched, like I said, a lot of people, their videos over these years, and some of them get meet at doors back to back. And so I have never, as far as I know, I've never gotten a tip in person. But like I said, I seldom ever, it might be, I could probably count in one hand how many I've gotten over all this time to meet at door. Seriously. I'd say maximum would be 10. Not just one hand, but 2. Seriously, all this time. And as far as things like ratings, I knew this is one of the wealthiest, counties in Texas. It's number 2. Actually, the first one is a small one. So this is you know, if they go by population, this would be number 1 at a certain time, basically city. Wow, mister, you're gonna, I'm a little distracted because there's this guy in a big van, and he's getting so close, and you're parking on the end of it. Oh my God. And he's almost taken off his own side view mirror, getting too close to the car, to the SUV next to him. How are you going to get out of there now? I'm parked at this end too, but that's a different end in front of me. Okay, I'm going to be fixated again. I don't know how you're going to get out of there, really. He's trying to figure it out. And it's a different kind of shaped van, and I wonder if they live in that, maybe. You never know. I see somebody passenger too. Didn't see that earlier. Wow, okay. Yeah, you're not helping yourself at all. But anyway. Okay, so where was I? I was talking about these things, constantly blaming somebody else. And the people who do this, okay, I waited for them to walk by just in case. But the people who do this constantly complaining, I mean, my goodness, about somebody else is at fault. They're popular. The ones I've seen, some of them, the ones that I actually, would actually like, they're not that popular because they're not mean, and they're not bad mouthing the customers. They're not bad mouthing the apps, the contractors. They're actually the contractors. The contract from the whatever place that. Whatever business, restaurant, grocery store, whatever. And it was always called subcontractors. We would be subcontractors, but actually they're independent. What is the term? Independent contractors? I don't know. Anyway, I haven't. There's a lot going on around me, so if I'm pausing, a lot is going on around me. So, anyway, and when I first started watching it, it wasn't made clear that, these are people who are not employees, and they would make things like, well, I'm not going to do this, and they still do, of course. And hey, I'm the same way. As far as, now, when I started doing these deliveries, I'm like, I'm not going to deliver somebody their coffee for $2. Take my time. I think I actually have done a couple of those over all this time since 2023, and this is 2025. I think I did one or something just to get, I had that attitude at first. Oh, just to get started, maybe they'll give me some. No, I was then, and I still overall. Thinking now that you teach it how to treat you, if anything, accepting those crazy offers, $2, $3, and but I used to go with Adam. Adam would go with me. Adam was an electrical engineer and worked from home, and every once in a while to get out, he'd want to go with me, just so he could get out of the house, and he'd go with me. Plus, when I first started, I want somebody to go with me to started to feel safe and feel secure and feel I got it down pat how it all works with all these different apps and everything. And he was one, he goes, oh, and he pushed the button, accept, and I'm like, dude, don't do that. And then it would wind up being like apartments and such. And I don't do apartments. I've already mentioned before. With the health and everything. And that one time, man, I almost fainted. And I was at the top of the first, I was on the second floor. And going up the stairs and almost fainted because wind hit me. It was actually 102 temperature at the time. And dry wind hit me. Oh, it was bad. But yeah, I'm here early at my physical therapy, so I'm going to be rambling. I'm always ramble. I always ramble. I have been making videos since 10 years. It was in August on my original channel. And I have more than one channel all these years. And that's been my thing. My biggest thing has always been pressure release valve. Opinions, views. I don't think I've ever, I'm fairly 100% certain, 99.99, let's say, % certain, I have never, bashed somebody. That's what they used to call it. Bash someone and say their name or their channel name or their whatever. No, that's not my thing. My thing isn't gossiping. My thing isn't being one of those, what do they call them now? Who knows? They try to make it look better, but all they are is gossips. And they try to find some name for it that doesn't sound like malicious gossip. You know what I'm saying? But no, mine was usually just to, things like I'm driving down the road. Just wherever I go, it happens almost every time. Almost every time. There's going to be a tailgater. If it's not me, they're doing it to the people in front of me. Yesterday, when I went to see the cardiologist, the trip there and the trip back, mainly the trip there, I saw 2 times, 2 different people tailgating the people in front of me. And it's like, do they have some kind of a problem? Seriously. My degrees are in psychology and sociology, and so I'm kind of just saying this, not as a question. It's not really a question. But it's some kind of deficit that they have to get so close to the person in front of them. They're tailgating. And depending on where you live, that could be very illegal. It'll get you a good old whopping ticket. And especially if you hit them from behind. Yeah. There used to be a thing when I was young. People would talk about whiplash. So many people would sue everybody for whiplash. Well, think about it. So, but anyway, I just couldn't believe I'm sitting there going, look how close they were. There may have been like, say 6 inches between their bumper and that person in front of them. Their bumper. The back bumper. What the heck? Come on. Why would you need to do that? What do you think you're going to accomplish? You're not going to get further down the road. Especially if you're sitting in a turning lane. That's what both of them were, actually. They both wound up in turning lanes, and you're not getting around them. You're not getting faster, and people are like me. I say once I get to, the people that are whipping in and out and tailgating and whipping in and out. Once I get to the light, I just wave as I pass them by. Because they're really not getting any further. I very seldom have ever seen them actually achieve something. Okay, back to this about driving, deliveries and such. And hey, I'm not perfect with it. I didn't know at first things like this one. Okay. I learned pretty quick about that they can leave, customers can leave messages. They can text you while you're on their order, you're going to their place to deliver it. You've already picked it up. And but for mine, it wouldn't say it. It wouldn't speak what they're leaving. I'm driving down the road, and I'm not looking at my cell phone. I'm not looking at it to see if they're going to send me a text. And it wouldn't beep, nothing. Or maybe it did beep and I just didn't know what that was. Or maybe not at all. I don't know. But I think now they speak them, don't they? Because really, like one of them says that they are working for safe driving, and yet you give the orders basically only when you're in the person's vehicle is moving. By the way, I found a way to get around that. Basically take the cell phone off the cell phone holder, you know, the mount, and move it like it's like your auto's moving. You go up or go back. And beep, 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 beep. Yeah. Seriously. You don't have to be moving. And that's something I see a lot of people. They're driving down the road and all this traffic, and they're looking over at their cell phone. Looking at their cell phone like they're obsessed with it. And they, ooh, couldn't take it. Okay. You didn't stop and look and zoom in and then zoom out or whatever you want to do to find out, is it an apartment? And then you're going to complain, like I said. That whole thing of accepting while you're driving may be the problem. And then they'll complain also about the stacked orders and how they take away the $2 that they're $2 or $3 that they would give you if they were separate. And that's I agree. I don't do stacked orders. I've done maybe a handful over all this time. And that's because Adam did. Dude. Really. But I don't like them. I actually did that thing of delivering the wrong one to the, you know, delivering backwards, because I didn't know that they change it. And I thought, okay, I picked this one up, I deliver that one first. I was wrong. So there was mine. I only had to do it once, and that was it. That was enough. Yeah. At least I think that that's what I did. That's the funny thing. Yeah. I don't know for certain, but I thought, well, maybe that's something that I did. Okay, but the other thing, it was this, that I've heard, and it kind of irks me. Okay, that people who go up to, who deliver after dark, which I've done, and only if Adam's with me, but, and then they complain about people, like houses, well, it would be houses, who don't have their porch light on. We just call it porch light. Okay. And they complain that they have to have those, you know, one on their head and flashlight and all this stuff. Hello? Text them. It's so simple. Text the customer, please turn your porch light on and, you know, off and on, so I can see which house I need to deliver to. Okay? I mean, it's so, and there was the word please, by the way. That's good customer service. That's the premium service. Speak, okay? Please. And anyway, some of this, quite a bit of it's tongue-in-cheek, but anyway. So then the customer goes up to, I've said this on the videos before, the customer goes up to the, says, okay, I'll do that. Guess what? Then they're at the door. Then they take it and they go, ooh, it was off already. My porch light was off already. Teachable moment. See? There you go. And you actually said please, as a premium service person would do. And so they turn it off on. You can find, there's their house. And the light's on. Wow. Instead of making video after video after video, these people, these customers, they don't think, they don't, are you perfect? Oh, no, I'm not. I know I've done that before. Said, oh crap, it's off. You know, the light's off. And so, oh my goodness, I'm such a horrible person. I accidentally didn't turn on the outdoor light. Oh my. Okay, how about the thing of, and you can also call them. You do know that, right? Okay, how about the thing of, hold on. Okay, how about the whole thing of, the customer says, you know, to hand it to me, and meet at the door, this kind of order. They say, and the customer is not just standing there. You know, the customer, we have to ring the doorbell and wait. Come on now. God, is there anything you won't complain about? The customer's always wrong. You think the customer's going to be standing there at the door for however long it is saying, are they here yet? Are they here yet? Are they here yet? Are they here yet? The customer's busy doing something. That's like the people who do groceries and they text the customer so much. I have had that, and I've had mine set at no substitutions. And I had, during especially 2020, 2021, they would sit there and text me. If I wanted to do all that, you know, even before then, okay, let's say before then, if I wanted all that, I would have gone and bought them myself. No, I'm busy. I'm wanting somebody else to deliver, to go shopping. It says no substitutions. No means no, okay? No substitution means no. But no, I'd get text and text and text. You know, would you like this instead? Would you? No. And I'm not sitting there wanting to sit the whole time the person's doing my shopping, because my shopping would have been, yeah, it'd take at least an hour, if not more. No. That's not what I'm hiring a premium service for. Is to sit there and wait for every text on that they see if they, oh, do you need this? Do you need, oh, do you want to substitute this? Can you not read? No, they want more money. So you think that, oh gosh. Anyway, I need to go in there. It's time. And here is my first test with all this health issue. When I would go into there to go to the physical therapy, especially the last time, and she was the one that really pushed me to go to the to see my doctor. My doctor didn't call me back. They were supposed to. I went to a urgent care. They said, we're not seeing you, ma'am. You're going right to the hospital. And very friendly woman. And I went right to the hospital and was it's congestive heart failure. But this is my test, was because I could barely make it that day from where from Park into the physical therapy clinic. I think they call it center. I don't know. I'm gonna check that. Anyway, I better go in there. Okay, I'm out of physical therapy. I'm a little bit hurting, just a little bit. You know, the thing about it is, when I was young, this would have been nothing. This kind of physical therapy would have been nothing. I mean, come on, I am that weak. But I do have a rare health condition, and it causes muscle atrophy in the hamstring muscles. And you know, those control so much. Man, and I have no balance. I really don't. So we're working on that. That's one of the things we're working on. We're working on all that. And I'm glad to be back doing it. And yeah, I really just taking that time off because I wasn't sure. I guess it was 3 times I didn't get to go because I wasn't sure if I could do it. Just that made my muscles weak again. I really got to build them up. And believe me, I can feel them like you wouldn't believe. But I just wonder how well it works at this age. I'm 61, so we shall see. Okay, anyway, I hope I can come out here sometime this week and start working. I want to start working and stay working here. But there's one app that won't let me work out here because it's not in their zone. I don't know why. But the other ones will. But I think one of them might do the thing of carrying me back into another. Let's just call them all zones. Be done with it. And I'm not going to like that. You know, some people say that one of them does not have zones. You know, that none of them but one has zones. Well, that's not true. I figured that one out real early on one of them, Uber Eats. I'll just say that one. I figured this out real early, that because I live in Collin County, Texas. It's got so many suburbs, in cities, all to themselves, some of them. But just going from one to the next, and in one of them, the big one, Plano, Texas, I can go through a few zones. And the way I know it is because each time I hit one and I don't have an order or I don't have it turned off to where I won't get any new offers, they'll send me crap offers. Each time I hit a new zone, boom, boom, boom. You know, and just driving through Plano. Plano's kind of long, and they'll just keep sending me. So my acceptance rate, yeah, I think it's 13% right now. But I've only done, one at this year? I think that was it. I've really had a lot of health issues going on. Like I said, it was my physical therapist who really said, hello. She told me, she said, you were very swollen. And she was doing an eval on my legs that week. So, yeah. Monthly eval. Even though I hadn't been very much. They're building some nice houses. I don't imagine those palm trees are going to make it. We've planted palm trees before and they just don't make it. The winter hits and so no thank you. We're not going to live here in Texas. We are California and Florida. We're not living here in Texas. I think they also have them in Georgia and all up and down. I lived in Georgia. I lived in Florida. I lived in California. I liked the A's. Those that ended with A's. That's not all I lived in. So. But anyway, where were we? We were talking about the delivery. I am ready to get back to it because I do actually enjoy doing it. And every once in a while I get an attitude myself, but I've never been one. Adam is one. He'll say, these customers, shame on them. They should know better. His is like pizza delivery. When he sees one that's pizza, he said, they only gave $1? So shame on people. What's wrong with them? They think that, people are going to deliver for a tip of $1? And like I say, how many customers actually know that's what the driver depends on is the tip? Like I said, after they paid all those fees, all those different kinds of fees, and it really is, it's not the customer, it's the service. It really is. So, but one of the things I learned when I was a child was how people will fight amongst themselves instead of fighting the persons or the people they need to. They're just going to take it out on one another. Shame